We just got up here on the building. He is running around looking. He is trying to stir up trouble. I don't know if he can smell some kind of game animal or what it is, but he is definitely trying to stir up some trouble. We're back out here for another day working on the siding, and I'm going to try to take the mistakes from yesterday and turn them into the wisdom of experience.
In one day?
In one day. We made a couple of mistakes in the way that I cut these things yesterday. Getting our groove back on siding. Every time we switch from one thing to the other, it seems like there's a little bit of an issue with me remembering how things are supposed to be done. So now that I've gone through and made a couple of mistakes on that side, I'm going to see if I can take what I learned there and turn it into something useful over on the other side. If I can get these first two big pieces out that go between the windows, I can fill in the rest of the gaps and get that whole layer all the way across. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do all that today, but I'm gonna sure try. Anytime you're building something, you want to be certain of your measurements. And with the price of sheet goods these days, you had absolutely better be certain of your measurements, because any mistake you make is going to cost you. Measure twice, cut once. It may seem comical to see me walking around talking to myself, but I talk myself through these things all the time. This is my keep. That's my waist. The sun god. He does not care.
It feels warmer today.
Well, the sun is out and there's no wind. Much.
Look at my hair.
Are you going to complain about everything I say? Every little thing.
Oh, maybe not. I just don't agree with you. As we were taking measurements to get ready to put some pieces up, we noticed that we had forgotten to put screws along the bottom of the window. It was never fully fastened in. While I finished cutting that piece, Jafani grabbed a driver and put the rest of the screws in. I'm done.
Lift it up just a bit more.
I can't. We need one block.
Oh, we need a block underneath it. All right, hold on. I gotta lean it out.
Whoa. I'm gonna put it down.
Yep.
Okay. Get in the block. We only need one.
Yep.
Alright, cool. We got yesterday. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Good.
I'm gonna drop it.
Ow!
Are you okay?
I got a cramp in my butt.
It's all that hiking.
So I had somebody ask me in one of the recent videos what size screws I was using. I'm using nails, and this is a 15-degree nailer. What I'm using right now
is a 2.5 inch by 0.092 exterior grade coil. What I'm using is Hitachi. The brand has changed over in names to Metabo now. I like it, but it's the only one I've ever used, so I really don't have anything to compare it to. But I like it.
And is that the only job?
Yeah, it's for nailing siding.
That's it.
I mean, you could probably use it if you were doing some fencing.
This is the second time that we tried to put this piece up. The first time, the battery had died on the camera, but it snapped in half and broke on our heads when we were trying to put it up. For the sake of brevity, I only included one point where we were making it. We were fortunate that neither one of us was hurt. You can't run around constantly wearing hard hats on everything that you do around there. I don't think that most people would actually be willing to do that.
All right, let's get one more done. Every one we do today is one more we don't have to do tomorrow.
As it's getting late, the sun's starting to go down. It's getting a little colder, and everybody's starting to feel it. We're starting to wear down.
He didn't want to be out. He doesn't want to be inside. He wants to be out, but he's freezing. Kids and dogs. You gotta do the thinking for him. Oh, yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm just looking over here. That should be 32 inches right there. I'm just looking. Welcome back. Got an early start of it today. Got some farm chores done. Took care of my pump. Last year I did not drain the pump that we pull water out of the pond with. And when the first hard freeze came, it busted the pump apart and I had to replace it. I went ahead and drained it this time. Trying to learn from my mistakes. Getting ready to jump back in here and tighten up this wall. I believe we're going to be able to finish this today. Certainly not going to get to the upper part of it, but we're definitely going to finish this lower section. And if I'm lucky, we'll even be able to throw some paint up on this thing. So the pieces that are still needed for this wall are all just straight cuts. So I don't have to go around any windows or anything. Basically, I've got 7 squares I still got to do, so I ought to be able to handle this. And for anybody who's just joining me, this is Hardie panel. This is James Hardie product, Hardie panel. We're gonna have a board and batten look to it when it's finished. These are 4 by 10 foot sheets that I'm working with. This is fiber cement. I'm cutting them with this Makita fiber cement shear. We have another video further back. I'll put the link in it where we did a review on it initially. We've been using it now for, well, better part of a year. And I am really pleased with it. It does a fantastic job. I've had a lot of people weigh in. People who do this for a living have said, well, it's slow. It's too slow. I couldn't do that. It is slower than running a saw across it. But unless you have an expensive setup that has a vacuum system on it that's going to trap that dust, when you run a saw across this stuff, you create one heck of a dust cloud. And it's terrible. It is terrible stuff. It gets in your eyes. It burns your throat. It's bad for your lungs. It can cause lung disease. I don't want any parts of it. This keeps the dust to a minimum. Sometimes when I'm doing a corner cut on a piece, I've got to use my jigsaw with a special blade that's made for this product and go ahead and notch that out, but that's a minimal cut and it keeps the dust down to a minimum. Really pleased with this tool so far. Savannah's going to be joining me in just a little bit. When she gets here, she's going to go ahead and paint the edges of these.
Let go.
Being able to finally get siding across the front of the house makes a tremendous difference in the way that it looks. And even without paint, it just gives the place a more finished feel.
That's what he looks like when he wants you to throw the ball.
Hold on.
All day. Every day. A bit of a gap over here.
Sometimes that first fitting reveals that you just don't have it cut right.
Gap over there?
And you have to go back and trim it a little bit.
Then I got to pull this off and trim it because it's too big. Perfect.
Oh, you don't trust me. Up in my ear. Go, go, go.
Alright.
We still have some siding pieces to put up, but the sun is moving across the sky, and I want to take advantage of the sunshine before it's gone for the day. The caulk needs about 30 minutes to set up properly, and then we can put our first coat of paint on. Building this house has been a slow and incremental process. There's been a lot of it where Jafana has simply trusted me. She's a more visual person. Having the ability to get the front of the house sided and painted for her is going to make a big difference.
when we drive around the corner at the bottom of the field, that first glimpse of the house starts to feel like home.
That was a short ride. Why does that make him so happy?
It's only 2 more pieces that we're pulling over, but those 2 pieces will allow us to finish the wall, and we really want to go out on a win for the day.
Huh, it's trying to slide.
Really?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. Got the brake a little tighter. I mean, the box blade should dig down.
Right.
The hydraulics have already set all the way down, but it doesn't mean it won't surprise us and do something stupid. We were talking this morning, we thought it was going to be in the 40s and low 50s. We were thinking maybe we were going to have our first fire in here, but we just haven't needed it yet. This place is so well insulated that the temperature hasn't dropped down below 55 inside the house yet. I don't know what it is. Maybe today's the first day. What's the temp in there, Sugar?
It's exactly 55.
55. So it's pretty stable. 56.
So it's pretty stable inside there, and it feels really good, especially outside. Sometimes the temperature will get down into the 30s. You walk inside, it feels fantastic. So the only downside, I mean, I know winter hasn't really hit us yet. The only downside is now I'm worried that maybe the house is going to be too warm, and I've overdone it with 3 different ways to heat it, but
I don't think so.
we'll figure that out when we come to that problem. You can always crack a window. Stop.
Okay. Are you okay?
Girl, you're killing me.
Just your fingers. Okay. I'm in.
Is it all the way in?
Yes.
All the way.
Yes. Felt it. There. Oh. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Right,
That's
that's
not
good.
contact.
You alright?
Yeah. It was just shocking. I felt my contact blow. That looks so good. Dog. Ball. You gonna go get that ball? Where's the ball? This year we're moving into this house. That's amazing.
Next year, not this year. 2022.
Okay, but next year is like right around the corner, so let's
Yep.
just count it as a year. Yeah, but it did its job.
That's
for
last
the
cut
day.
too. Last cut for
Yeah.
the day. Last cut for the day, and the battery is dead.
It was meant
So,
to be, unless we mess up.
Down to a single little red dot. Last piece. Well, it looks like we've swallowed up another weekend up here. It's done. But we got the siding up on the front, at least. Lower level. got our goal for the weekend.
It's pretty encouraging, actually. It looks good.
Looks really good.
Really happy about it.
See y'all next time.
Good night.
So the pieces that